Teddy Veal, Louisiana Tech running back coach. We watching the FanView podcast. Appreciate y'all.
Welcome guys, girls, everybody. We back, baby. FanView podcast. Another edition, another episode. I'm that boy Fred.
G Sports back at it.
Coach Hurricane here back at it again and again. One more time for the again. It's my birthday again and again.
Y'all already know what it is. Listen, if y'all on YouTube, it's FanView podcast. Subscribe, like, share, watch it with a friend, comment. Y'all already know what it is. It's FanView Live. If you on IG, it's FanView NOLA. If y'all on Twitter, don't forget to follow us on TikTok, FanView Podcast. We got another special guest, baby.
Another one.
Y'all
My dude Teddy Veal in the building, man. New Orleans native. Had a really, really good career at Tulane and Louisiana Tech, man. Then jumped off into the coaching scene, man, in 2020. And now you done elevated, man, from a GA to an analyst. Now you got your own room as a running back coach at Louisiana Tech, man. Talk about elevating the coaching journey early on in your career, man, and how it's been going for you, bro. And
absolutely.
Just talk about what you're expecting from the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs this upcoming season.
I got you. Well, first and foremost, man, I appreciate y'all having me.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of things that y'all could be doing with a lot of different people, and I appreciate y'all having me, taking the time out.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
You know, just a fellowship, you know?
Yep.
Yeah,
Facts.
Just a fellowship.
Facts.
Take care of our own.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Nah, man, I expect for us to do some really good things this year. We added some more pieces.
Yep.
Out of the portal, we lost a few people that we didn't intend to lose or whatnot, but I think, overall, it'll be really good this year.
Y'all gonna have
But
a lot of transfers coming in.
But you skipped over the part about, you jumped in the coaching game 3 years ago, bro.
Right.
And now you got your own room. I know some coaches that jump in the game, man, they don't get their own room
Decade later.
5, 6, 7 years later down the road,
Right.
A different
talk about
stops.
that, man, and how excited you are to have your own room going into this next season.
So, first of all, it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey, but it's been short.
Right.
It's been short and sweet. After I finished playing, well, I started in high school at Carver. Started at Carver. I did 3 years there. My senior year came up, and then I finished at West Jeff. Graduated early, so I went in, like I was 17 years old when I graduated at high school. So I'm on a college campus, and taking 18 hours.
Damn,
You lost your mind.
Yeah,
You lost your mind.
That's how it was.
I remember
man.
college. 18 hours, boy.
And trying to juggle football,
Yeah.
Boy, listen.
and have a personal life.
Yeah.
Cancel.
It was a lot. It was a lot. But it was very rewarding, just the coaches that we had surrounded by us. There's a lot of great coaches that we had on staff. We had Curtis Johnson, who had just came from New Orleans Saints. And the year before that, they just had went to the bowl game, the New Orleans Bowl.
Right.
The year before that, you had David Johnson.
Yep.
Who else you had? You had Jason Rollins. You had Speedy, who played in the NFL for a long time.
Yep.
Who else they had? They had Eric Price, Aaron Price.
Blake Baker wasn't on that staff, huh?
Nah, Blake actually played for Tulane, but he wasn't on that staff. He actually was on the staff at Louisiana Tech when I got there.
He was DC.
At the DC at Tech.
He was there. So you had a bunch of different coaches or whatnot, people that came from a lot of different places or whatnot, and those guys poured into us, which reflects the things that I want to do, just in terms of the position that I'm in now.
Yep.
You get an opportunity to pour into kids, and I feel like I'm doing my purpose in life, and that's basically serving and pouring to kids or whatnot. So basically, high school, Carver, Jeff, go to Tulane, do 2 years there at Tulane, and then Curtis Johnson get fired. We go 3-9 or whatnot. So I thought it was a different, it was an opportunity for me to branch off and do something else.
New coaching staff
New coaching staff, going into my third year, feeling like, man, I'm a junior. The learning curve for me is just kind of like, You know, because
Sure.
that junior year, that's when you really want.
You
like,
trying to make some moves.
yeah,
you
you really trying to take off. Because like my freshman year, I'm 17 years old. I go in the room and it's like 17 receivers, and
That's overwhelming.
I'm like, ain't no way I'm playing.
You 17 with 17 receivers.
17 with 17 receivers. And in my mind, when I walked in the room, I'm like, there's no way I'm about to play.
Right.
Like you had people like Mark Edwards in the room.
Uh-huh.
You had Ked Banks who played at 3-5.
Mhm.
They just had a ton of talent that was in the room or whatnot, and I was just like, man, ain't no way I'm playing. As a freshman, you know, it was just, you know, but I went through spring. I went through spring ball. I had an opportunity to go through spring ball, so that was really beneficial to me. So that, like now, you see a lot of kids are starting to do that.
Yep.
You know, try to graduate high school early.
Yep.
and get that for spring ball.
Right. So when the other
Become an early
freshmen
enrollee.
get there,
You already got a leg
you're
up.
already a leg up, and then you've been, you know, you're ahead of the game
You've been
before the
working
freshmen.
out.
Right.
You've been
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to
Class,
condition
you
class.
study hall.
Right. So your time frame is completely different from everybody else.
Right.
You know, so you're not asking, oh, well, where this building at is, where the calf at. You know what I'm saying? You kind of like teaching them, and with that, it creates leadership from within your own class.
Yep.
Right.
Because everybody looking to you.
Yep.
Or whatnot. So
I ain't look at it that way.
yeah, absolutely. Because you know, by you being a freshman, you asking older guys.
Correct.
Well, if you're in the same class as them, now they're gonna look to you because y'all on the same level.
Correct.
So now you create leadership, not even knowing, like unconsciously, that's what it creates. You know, so that's kind of like what it is, and that's what one of the things that I was able to do.
We got first crack at the ladies too.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
We got first dibs.
Tulane is very, very diverse. It's like when you're on campus, you're not even uptown. And I don't think a lot of people understand and realize that. But
And there's a lot of money.
yeah, it's a lot of money. You need
lot of
campus.
old money.
Yeah.
It is. But it was a great journey, great opportunity. I had success there. So you know, so my freshman year, had a little success. Ended up starting half of the season, so I started 6 games as a true freshman.
Out of 17 receivers,
Out
you
of
got
7
some playing time.
Out of 17
So,
receivers.
and not to cut you off,
Nah, you good.
what happened that got you over that hump when you was kind of doubting yourself about he got 17 guys in his room? I'm probably not gonna play, but then you end up starting 6 games. Who got you over that hump? Who helped you get through that process?
Well, you know, there's like I mentioned, the coaches, like a lot of coaches or whatnot, you know, they pour into you and just give you little gems here and there. And one of the things that one of the coaches told me was like, whatever you do, play fast. Whatever you do, play fast. Because the thing is that like we can correct the technique and all that, but 2 things I always tell my players and whoever I'm coaching, attitude and effort are 2 things that you cannot control.
Right.
You know, so one of the things, just being around the coaching game and stuff like that, I always talk about like TNT, right? And everybody be like, man, what you talking about, a basketball show?
Right.
NBA game? Nah, TNT. Got this for one of the coaches from the NFL, Coach Googe, who's the O-line coach from the Patriots. And he say TNT, and that basically means take no talent. It takes no talent for you to show up on time. It takes no talent for you to have a great attitude. It takes no talent for you to give great effort, be a good teammate, have discipline, courage, you know what I'm saying, focus, being consistent. None of that has anything to do with you having stars.
I'm still
why
in
they
that.
keep
Still in there right
I'm
now.
still
Put it
in
my
that.
notes.
I'm still in
Take
that.
no talent.
Wait,
TNT
you
takes
don't
no
understand.
talent.
Like when
Nobody keep
Like,
drafting
yeah.
linemen though.
when
TNT, TNT,
I
man.
like that.
When
I like that.
I like that.
Hey, we just had our spring game yesterday. When we come back off of this little break, when it's time for us to talk, I'm like, hey man, look, I need a TNT approach, baby.
Yeah.
TNT.
You know what I'm saying? Coach, what TNT? I'm glad you asked.
It's a copycat league.
You know what I'm saying? Take no talent.
Man.
They always say this. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a copycat as long as you're copying the right cat.
But then also, like in the coach profession, like it's nothing that somebody just say, all right, I invented this. Somebody has stolen a variation from everybody.
correct.
But I can steal it from Coach Veal, but how do I make it Coach Singleton's version of
You gotta put your little spin on it.
Yeah.
Right.
But let me ask you this.
Put your gumbo on it, baby.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Oh, cabbage. Your non-cabbage.
Boy, we don't
Yeah.
do no cat.
Please don't tell nobody that.
You know what I'm saying? How much you approaching that room 17, getting playing, and then, winding up starting 6 games, did Curtis Johnson have an effect on? Because he's that's what he does. Wide receiver is if he don't know nothing else, he know the wide receiver position, and especially coming from the league and coming from a prolific offense like the Saints, like how much like the little nuggets or the little. Because like when you're a head coach, you always gonna keep an eye on the stuff you specialize in. But and you might say some stuff. How much taking the stuff that he said, like maybe in passing or just maybe popping his head in the room, like kind of help elevated you to that point to where you was like, all right, I could do this.
So when you think about it, like obviously one of the things that drew me to Tulane was the pro style offense. Like he had just came from the league, ran the Saints playbook, so as a young kid, like you're striving to be in the NFL.
Right.
Why not go play in a system that's NFL like?
Correct.
So you talk about his resume and all the people that he coached, from Miami. There's
Reggie
a lot
Wayne,
of
Santana.
all those dudes. So
A lot of people
Andre
forget
Johnson?
Curtis
Yeah.
was coaching them guys.
Yeah.
And
Andre
getting them guys
Johnson,
to come from Louisiana too.
Mm-hmm.
So like he was one of the coaches that got Marshall Faulk to San Diego State.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure was.
So just the relationships that he built or whatnot, and believing in kids or whatever. But the thing is that the thing that I look about, like I had 3 receiver coaches on staff. Like you had Curtis Johnson, who came from the league. You had Keith, who's now Keith Williams, Doug, wideouts.
Yeah.
So he was our coach, and then you had Dave Johnson.
Dave
so
Johnson.
you got like 3 wide receiver coaches that are on staff or whatnot.
Because Dave was coaching tight ends, but he's a receiver
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. I mean, when you could coach dog, you coach anything, bro. But the thing is that you have all these, resources surrounded by you or whatever. So I took advantage of that. So when everybody used to go out and do certain stuff, like I used to go study. I used to be in the film room. Like, so they have coaches in there. So you have access to all this film.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously you got to know what you're watching.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Correct.
it's one thing to say I'll go up in there and I'm just watching film, right? And most kids do this too. They go up in there, you don't really know how to watch film. So part of it is that you got to teach them. It's like, what is it that I'm looking for? What I'm watching, the breakdown. Because you could go up in there and just watch a game and be like, oh, man, A. Cole, that was a nice move.
Right.
But, like, what are you getting out of it? So I call it Planet Fitness. That's what I call it.
Another gym.
Yeah, I call it Planet Fitness because it's like you go to Planet Fitness, this exercises just work out. But whenever we're doing something, like, what is it that you're getting out of it?
Right.
You could have went to Planet Fitness to do that. Like,
Right.
we're trying to get work. You got to maximize it, whether that's the meeting room, the drills, all of those things, work together. So for me, being a young guy, getting in the film room, I had an extra leg on people, and I played fast. You know what I'm saying? So, and then Curtis' mindset, he, coming from the league, like, they play with about 6 receivers.
Yeah.
When they bring people in and they draft people, they're not looking, like, you can't get redshirted in the league.
Correct.
Like, I'm signing you to come play.
Yeah.
To be a part of us.
Yes.
Right.
So, like, he threw me in that water, but my perspective changed. So one of the things is that, like, if you want your problems to go away, if you change your perspective, half of your problems will go away. So if you change your perspective, a lot of the problems that you have would eventually go away. So you have to change your mindset and look at it as like, is the cup half full, half empty, right? I could go up in there and say, man, they got 17 receivers. Or I can say, oh, I have an opportunity to play with these 17 receivers. So you flip your perspective, and then my problem went away from me thinking that, oh, I'm never going to play. Because I automatically thought, man, I'm about to redshirt. They got 17 dudes up in here. And as a young kid going into the college world,
You
don't
blamed everything and everybody.
You don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
You don't know what to expect.
Unknown.
You don't know what to expect. So
With 18 hours.
18 hours just in there, 17, 18 hours just in there, So had an opportunity to go through spring, had a little success whenever the season came. You got injuries here.
Yep.
You take advantage of that. You got people that are doing things that take no talent, that take them away from being successful, not showing up to class, making bad grades. So you take advantage of all those opportunities. And I tell my guys, don't be that guy. Whatever that means to you, just don't be that guy. That means don't show up on no list, don't miss study hall, no palms up, no bad body language. Put yourself in a position to where nobody can take nothing from you.
Make yourself undeniable.
Make yourself undeniable, because here's the thing. In college, the first thing that kids do is like, man, coach hating on me.
Mm-hmm.
Coach hating on me. They ain't giving me no playing time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put yourself in a position to where you're doing what you're being coached to do. You're not one of those guys. And then also, too, being productive. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's a productive business.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You have to be consistent over time. You know, so talking to the guys, and even now, and I look back to me coaching, because I'm not that far removed.
Correct.
So I'm able. I graduated high school 13, 14, so I graduated early.
And then I finished college in what?
17, 18.
2018.
Yeah. 17, because once I transferred, this was before the portal, dog.
Right.
Yeah, I had to sit out.
Right.
It was before the portal,
I
so
know you mad now.
yeah, man. It's all good, but
You pre-portal, so you
I'm pre-portal.
I remember the days when you had to sit out.
Yeah, you had to sit out, man. You had to sit
hold on
out.
to that for the rest of your life.
So-
You kids got it grateful.
So mentally, like, you go into a situation, like I'm going to tech, like knowing that I have to sit out.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with my perspective. I could look at it and say, man, I'm going here and I got to sit out. Or I could look at it and say, man, I'm going to change my body. I'm going to learn the system. And I'm going to learn from the guys that played in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like when I went up in there, we had some really good coaches as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and then that year that I didn't get a chance to play, like Tech was one of the top 10 offenses in the
Yes,
country.
indeed.
Yeah.
Like we had Carlos Henderson,
Yep.
that was from
Carlos-
3-5.
Trent Taylor.
So
Taylor.
Los had 1,600 yards with 17 touchdowns. And
Yeah.
17 touchdowns was tied with I think Juju,
Mm-hmm.
whoever won the Biletnikoff that year.
Juju.
From USC.
To
Yeah.
USC.
So they was tied with 17 touchdowns in the country. You had Trent Taylor, who sailed with the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
100
He had-
catches.
He had 136 catches,
That's
led
wild.
led the country in catches, and he had 1,803 yards.
Who was the quarterback that time?
Driscoll.
Was it Drake?
Yeah,
Driscoll.
Driscoll. From
Came
Florida.
from Florida.
Came from
So
Florida.
Driscoll
Florida.
was the year before. Driscoll was in 13.
Okay.
Ryan Higgins was the quarterback.
Yeah, okay.
Gotcha, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Ryan was there. Yeah, he's a Texas kid. Ryan was there for about like 5 years or whatnot, and he was a fifth-year senior.
Yeah,
so
right.
he had, and then we had running backs as well,
Yeah.
So we had a 1,000-yard running back. So, like, in that offense, you had two 1,600-yard receivers, and then you had 1,000-yard. And Ryan Higgins, that was the year Patrick Mahomes came out. So he was top 5 in the country in passing yards. So I'm excited, and I'm like, man,
I
like,
can't wait to be a part of this.
I can't wait to be a part of this. So I look back and, so my first year at Tulane, I probably had maybe 36 catches, probably 400 and some yards. And then my second year, I had about 600 yards, about 40 some catches. Well, when I went to Tech, my first year playing, I kind of doubled that a little bit. So I had like 70 catches and like 900 and some yards.
Mhm.
So like the move that I made, it was logical. You know what I'm
Logical
saying? It was a
Production
logical
still
move.
going up.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going here because they got this and this. It was really a business move for me. And a lot of people don't know this, is that like when Hurricane Katrina happened, when it hit, Ruston was one of the first places I went.
So
you was
you was
familiar with the
familiar
area.
Cause I went to like Ruston Elementary.
Okay.
So I did like a few. Yeah, man, I did a few years there. I did like maybe a couple months or whatnot. So like my family was scattered around. Some of us went to Atlanta. I was with my aunt at the time because it was like transition from the summer, getting ready for school. So whoever you was with during the summer,
Rusted in your blood now.
that's who you was with. Russ Vegas, man. Russ Vegas. So Russ Vegas, dog. Russ Vegas. So I actually was in Ruston for a couple months. Went to school there. One of the churches, Temple Baptist Church, had took us in or whatnot. So we was there for a couple months and then went to Atlanta for 3 years. So I was like in middle school 3 years, and then we came back. And then I've been in Louisiana ever since.
Man, how Wes Jeff and not Higgins?
Well, see,
I'm gonna ask this. I'm gonna ask this question
What?
because Corey Lambert was the coach then, right?
Yeah.
He from Higgins, man. Why not Higgins, man?
So
I really want to know, like, why you just didn't go to call.
so
That's what I'd have waited.
Or HL Bourgeois.
so
Come on now, chill out.
here's the thing.
You was just at East yesterday, too.
I was.
You walking home, man.
Yeah, I did. He showed me where his locker was and everything, dog. My dog had a top locker. You heard? He had a top locker. So,
His locker still out.
yeah. Still standing, dog. Still standing.
Gotta have a top locker,
Yeah.
dog. Dog, you have a top locker, though.
You talking to a big dog.
Man, sit down. All right.
Man, you gotta get with the bottom one.
Yeah, dog.
Oh.
So the transition. So all right, it's a crazy story. So I was at Culver,
Mm-hmm.
and my cousin ended up going to Alabama. We had a teammate, Eugene Bradley, who went to Ole Miss, and then I also had another cousin who went to UAPB when coach that's at Southern.
Dooley.
Yeah, Coach Dooley was the head coach at UAPB, where Willie Young went from Miller McCoy.
Yeah.
So the whole transition of me getting ready to see what high school that I was gonna go to, so I did a year. I was actually about to go to. I was about to go to Carl. I was about to go to Carl in 2010.
So is that Nate Jones?
I was about to go.
No, that was Jalou.
Yeah. So Jalou was there.
Mhm.
Bryce was there. Brock was there. So I've been knowing those guys for 10 plus years because I was actually about to go play for them.
Right.
Well, the rule back then was you couldn't transfer Orleans to
Parish,
Orleans.
Correct.
Oh.
So
okay.
by Carl being in Algiers and
Algiers.
Orleans Parish, I couldn't go from Carver to Carl.
Okay.
Right.
So, some things happened in my family. So like in high school, another reason that kind of like moved me into this direction that like my mom had passed when I was I was 16.
I want to get into that.
So she had passed away when I was a junior in high school.
Mhm.
She actually passed away in November, so it was like playoff time. So we actually played Evangel in the playoffs against Trent Taylor. Talk about like how close and everything comes
Full
together
circle.
or whatnot. So she passed away from pancreatic cancer,
Wow.
and that was that was my junior year of high school. So I was just like, man, just let me move back closer to my grandma who lived over here or whatnot, and my aunt, she lived in Gretna. So I kind of moved back closer to home, to kind of be a part of them and be with them or whatnot, and made that transition. And then Marcus Scott was the head coach at West Jeff.
I never knew he was the head coach at
Yeah.
West Jeff.
So like it was Lambert, Scott. This was before he went to
That's strange.
yeah,
He
because
was at Everett too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, he was at that.
Because he was at Eric, like, so he went from Eric to West Jeff. Because that's what he was when he was at Eric. That's when Clifford was with him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew he was the head coach at West Jeff.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you talk about the relationship that we have or whatnot, and having all the conversations or whatnot. So that was actually like my first time having a locker,
Damn.
like a football locker, because at Carver we was in the portables.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
because that's right.
We was in a portable, so like our weight room was a portable.
Yeah.
It was a P building.
I was getting out the mud.
Yeah, it was a P building. So like we had crates for our lockers. Like that's where you put your equipment in. So you talk about like being thankful of the opportunity that you're blessed with. Like you go from this to that, and being able to be at West Jeff. Like, man, I had a locker,
And you had the stadium.
had a stadium. So you talk about the resources and being able to get on the field and go do extra work and perfect your craft. Like all of those things you had access to.
Right.
Whatnot. At Carver, I mean, we got it out the mud. We made the best of what we had, like a lot of kids have to do now. Just the limited resources that you do have,
Yeah.
whatnot. So,
Like
just
Walker,
that, yeah, just that grit, that hunger. You know what I'm saying? And coming down from the bottom, and most kids play with a chip on your shoulder because you never had none.
Right.
And those are the type of kids that I like to recruit. People that have been through adversity, especially now more times than ever, because when things get tough and you get upset, I know what kind of dude that I got, and I know he's not going to get in the portal. You know what I'm saying? So everything kind of like works together or whatnot. And, but yeah, that was like kind of my transition going from Carver to West Jeff. I wanted to go to Carr, because I would have been on Algiers America. I would have been on that, but I would have been on that, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but nah, man, they done a really good job of like building that foundation there. I mean, they had a lot of history before then or whatnot, and there's a lot of people to pay homage to for the people that came before them
No doubt.
or whatnot, and it kind of like shines the light on these kids or whatever. But there was a lot of people that that poured into that program and got it to where it was. You know,
Agreed.
What I kind of want to get into, man, you touched on your mom dying, man, when you were 16 years old, a junior in high school, bro. And we were talking about this before the podcast.
Right.
You never know what somebody going through.
Right.
You never know what somebody dealing with, man. How did you deal with losing your mama, man, at such a young age, and how you was able to still keep a level head and stay focused on, your common goal of trying to get a scholarship and go play college football?
Well, the thing is that like God is real. Like God is real, and there's a lot of times and a lot of things that you're gonna go through in life, and your faith will be tested.
Yeah.
Like it will be tested. Like those things are bound to happen. Like adversity is gonna happen. It comes in all different shapes and forms and sizes, and you never know. So for me, being able to take the extra step, one step, one step, one step, one step, one step, and you just put one step in front of the other, and it allows you to keep going. It's just like riding a bike. They got a quote. It's just like riding a bike. Life is like riding a bike, right? If you keep going, you keep your balance. The moment you stop, you're going to fall. Unless you got training wheels. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that you want to keep going, because the thing that helps me is that somebody in this world's always got it worse than you.
Yep.
Like we all going to go through adversity, and we all going to go through storms and trials and tribulations. But there's somebody in this world that has it worse than you.
Yep.
So you talk about the perspective, and your perception of things is like, you have to be able to change your perspective about a lot of different things. So I could look at it and be like, oh, well, it's me and this and that.
Feel sorry for yourself?
I could feel sorry for myself, or I could pull my pants up, roll up my sleeves, right, and continue to bang that rock. Like, those are the things that I can keep doing. Or you can feel sorry for yourself, right? So, like, in the real world, like, don't nobody feel sorry for you. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody got their own problems that they dealing with.
They were dealing with stuff.
So that's not to say nobody going to have empathy and sympathy for you.
Right.
But at the same point in time, it's just like,
They got their own stuff.
they got their own stuff. So I was at a pivotal point in my life to where it's like, all right, I have opportunities to sit up there and go play college football, because I was getting recruited. Like, my first offer in 10th grade was like from Ole Miss. So Grant Hurd, who's now at Indiana, who was the receiver coach, because Eugene Bradley, he went up there to Ole Miss or whatever. So I was in 10th grade, man. I had my highlight tape on the CD, and I'm like, man, look, coach, play that. Like, I had him, you know what I'm saying? So,
right.
we kind of made our own film or whatever, but you had that, being able to stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. So that was one of those things or whatnot. And, just being young, going through the recruiting process, and then they started going getting the 4 stars and 5 stars or whatnot. But the thing that kept me going is all things work together for the good of the Lord, for those who love Christ. You know what I'm saying? Just like everything works together for your good. So anytime something bad happens to you, it's for your good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Adversity hit, it's for my good. Whatever it is that you go through in life is for your good. If you believe that. Because you can feel sorry for yourself, or you can look at it and say, I'm going to count it all joy.
Right.
Because it's going to endure for the night, but in the morning, joy is coming.
That's it.
And you got to be able to keep that mindset going, because, like, in life, dog, there's a lot of different things that can pull you in a lot of different directions if you don't have a foundation.
Right.
And it goes back to what you said earlier about your perspective of it, because you might think it might be adversity to you, but somebody else look like, man, that's just your foundation. Because, hey, I went through something similar, but it got me to where I am now. It elevated me to this point in my life, because now I deal with this type of stuff on a regular day, and I got 15, 20 years of experience in that, so this is second. It's nothing now. So now, if the adversity that you're going through, it's going to hurt because you in it right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But like you said, when that sun rise,
it's coming.
It's going to put you on a whole nother platform, just because you walk in that light, that path that he prepared for you.
Man, the thing is that I thank God each and every day, man. There's a lot of things that we could be doing. There's a lot of places that we can be. And the one thing that I ask for is, like, life, health, and strength. And wherever it is that you want me to be, if it's your will, let it be done. Because this is the thing, like, in life, you never know, like, we talk about, like, you know, a lot of things could go in a lot of different directions,
Right.
right? And you never know. Like you just said, like you never know what people going through.
Right.
You never know who you're gonna need. You never know what bridge you're gonna need to cross or whatnot, and you never know like who may have to speak on your behalf.
Yep.
Right.
So the thing that's missing, especially in this world now more than ever, is love. There's a lot of people that don't do things out of love.
Right.
You know, we live in a transactional world.
Yeah.
We live in
agendas.
yeah, man. We live in a
agendas.
you know, and that's scary because it's like you create these bonds and relationships not knowing like why are you doing this? What are your intentions behind it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the scary part of what not. But having that crazy faith of knowing that like at any moment something is bound to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I just got to be able to keep going. I got to be able to keep going. You know, one of the things that we say, and it sticks with me now, is like, you know, our head coach, Sonny Cumber, he talk about like, the longer you go, the more you know. And then it comes from like the old folks, they say, if you keep living, you know, you've been to seen it all.
You've been seeing it all.
Yeah, you've been to seen it all. If you keep,
He is wearing
yeah.
that no function out in this podcast.
If you keep living, man, you've been to seen it all. So it's just like, you just got to keep going, dog. You got to keep.
The longer you go,
the more you know.
The more you know.
You know, because in the beginning, like, all right, man,
Till you run out of gas.
awesome, good, boom.
It's new.
It's new, like, boom.
It's fun.
Right, but what happens when it gets old? What happens when you've been doing it for 3 and 4 years and you've heard the same speech for 3 and 4 years, right?
It's like a relationship.
Yeah, do you turn it off or do you keep going? But it's ultimately going to show me what kind of character you have and what type of player you is, you know. So it's been good, but, you know, that adversity for me, it taught me a lot. And it kind of shaped my life,
Right.
in a sense, because the things that I thought about it was just like, if something is going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not, it's not.
right.
Because I looked at it and was like, man, I lost the most important person in my life. How can my life be any worse than what it already is?
After coming through Katrina.
After coming through Katrina, after moving, after doing all these things. And then I lose my mom, right? I lose my mom in 2011. Boom. Go through that. Then I go off to college. A year in college, I lose my grandmother who I was living with at the time.
Wow.
You know, so when you talk about like being home and, you know, I had my brothers and sisters or whatnot, so being able to live with them or whatnot. So you talk about like that adversity, like losing the people that you're like confided in and
Yes.
go to
Yes.
and having that emotional
parent.
support.
They're your
yeah,
parent.
they're your parent. Not to mention that my dad was in jail for 13, 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
So like I didn't
He's
start
unavailable.
didn't start building a relationship with him until I got to Louisiana Tech.
Damn.
You know, so you just talk about like not having the support that you really need or whatnot, but then that's where coaches come in at.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where like people like myself step in and try to relate to those kids because I've been through what you've been through. I can relate to you. I know the struggle.
But
I know how it is.
you don't look like you've been through nothing.
Well, you know what they say, man. And Grace walking on 2 legs. You know what I'm saying?
You don't look like you've been through
Yeah.
any of that, bro.
That's
No, you don't.
Since the first
You
day I
don't.
met you, like
You don't.
you always had a certain spirit about yourself, and to hear your story is like people be complaining about the smallest things, bro.
Do they?
The smallest things, and I always say that
First world
somebody
problems.
always got it worse.
Yeah.
But you know, it's
God
first-
damn.
I think about what Brock had told us. Is one of those things is it seems small to us because we didn't got adapted to, hey, all right, this happened. How we gonna smooth this out to get to the next step? Some people, they might not have hit that stage in their life, so the smallest thing, like, hey man, lights off. The lights off. At that time, it might, man, if it's your first time your lights
Your
being
world
off,
coming
it's
down.
like,
yeah.
Your world coming
man,
down.
Yeah.
man,
sky
what-
falling.
Yeah,
Sky
man,
falling.
what to
Sky
do,
falling.
man? Tomorrow ain't gonna come.
Yeah.
Tomorrow ain't gonna come,
We've
man.
all been there.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so it's like, but all of us have done that before. Like, all right, look,
It's
it's a way to, hey kids, hey, Man, we playing. We camping today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we camping today. All right, you know, charge the phones in the car. You know what I'm saying? You know, all right. Look, when the check clear tomorrow, boom, boom.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like for them, it's the you know what I'm saying? You know how to
World
navigate.
coming down.
You know how to put a light in that dark spot. For them, when this is your first time, and I remember in college, man, I ain't got no money in my account. Boy, the calf is right there. I ain't got no money in my account. You know, it's like I'm away from home. I'm in Mississippi. It's nothing but woods out here. What am I gonna do? Then now it's like, all right, money ain't. If it gets to that point, ain't money in the account. Yeah, money in the account.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I should
We got
have
cash
bought.
in the day.
I should.
Yeah.
I should.
Venmo.
Yeah,
I
they
shouldn't.
got all
I shouldn't have.
type of-
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody
But-
got to sell me something.
yeah, you know, but it's like you didn't weather that storm so much to that rock it's not even sharp no more.
Yeah.
Now it's more like in today's time. These kids' batteries don't charge on these devices here. They whole world crash.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care how
They
fast.
flash out.
They gonna spaz. My phone dead. Get a
Man,
charge.
coach, she took my phone. All right,
You'll be all right.
You be all right.
you didn't have a phone for like 8 years. What you do then? Yeah, but coach, man, I need hear that.
Right.
But let me ask you this question, because now, if you start looking at like the position you're not coaching, running backs, if you're looking at from like the current NFL draft,
Right.
we come from a generation where running backs were just boop, 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 boop. Now we're getting into a generation where running backs, we had what, 2 first round?
Right.
The previous year, I don't even recall one going first round at all.
The last one that went first round was Saquon, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Before this year.
Before this year. So
Yeah, Saquon Barkley.
how do you keep kids for this position it's evolved, but it hasn't evolved in the way that we've seen in the past?
Right.
How do you keep kids in tune with want to just play this position? Because at the pro level,
Right.
it's played, of course, but it's not the receiver position. It ain't the position you played.
Right.
It's not that.
It's not glorified as
It's
much.
not glorified as it previously was. So how do you keep kids to buy into, want to play this position and put up numbers and possibly see themselves potentially play at a pro level?
Well, the thing is, the way that I look at it, by me playing receiver, now I have an opportunity to add something else to your game. Instead of running backs just being one-dimensional.
Correct.
Like I tell my guys all the time, you ain't just a running back. Like we do it all. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. Like you see Alvin Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
Like he catches the ball out the backfield.
Yep.
So his value goes up. If you just one-dimensional, it's hard for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have different styles of backs and this, that. But the way that the world, like of football and the NFL, is changing, it's and evolving. You know what I'm saying? To where it's becoming more of a passing league. And the reason being is because you got linebackers and you got D linemen that's running 4.4s and 4.5s and 4.3s. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that didn't used to be the case back then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To where,
You
so
go
like,
4.8 and be second round.
yeah, you'd be,
Not today.
now you run like a 4.5 and they, man, he's slow.
Right.
Bro, that's still fast.
Right.
Like, that is still fast. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, people put a lot of things on that or whatever to make it stick and hold weight. But, like, oh, you got people that's running, like, 4.4s and 4.5s and they, like, 290 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, that's unheard of. That's
Yes.
freakish. So,
It's freakish.
yeah, so when you just talk about the dynamics of the talent level and the athleticism of today's world and generation with all the resources and the training that people have, the speed training, the X, Y, like they have so many resources that are available to them to where the game is evolving. So like the game is becoming more of a passing lead. And you got to have a back that has the ability to do it all.
Do it all.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't be one dimension. You got to add value to your game. So you got to be able to catch the ball out the backfield. You got to be able to run. And then also, too, you got to be able to protect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that we're not, but just keeping people intrigued. Like, they're always going to have a running back in the league. They ain't going to get out there and it's going to be empty personnel.
Right,
so
right,
Correct.
right.
you're going to always have a back. You're going to always have a tight end. That's just the way it is.
The way it is.
Or whatnot. You know, now it's just like the value of saying, like, all right, this is a stud, this is a running back, he's one in, you know what I'm saying, 1 in a million. But now you damn near could stick a running back like they do with Debo. Like they put Debo in the backfield and you know what I'm saying? So that's just
Tyreek Hill.
you know, they put different people in the backfield with the same athleticism and skill set to try to create mismatch on linebackers and
Yep.
stuff like that. So
Yep.
just being able to add more stuff to your game or whatnot And there's still appreciation for all the great backs that did come, before, and they probably rolling over in their grave.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With the style of play of like how football is
Football
now.
is now.
So it's changed or whatnot, but people still are excited about it. So
Shit, I'm happy for that. Boy, I wouldn't want to play running back today, boy.
Let me ask you
My numbers
this. Talk about the position in college football of analysts, because I was like, when I first heard that position coming, like Saban was like abusing, or this an analyst, this an analyst, this an analyst. I was thinking like, all right, those guys are just somebody that's just crunching numbers, data, boop boop boop, all right,
Right.
and not doing no work.
Right.
Until I started talking
Mhm.
to some of them, when like sitting down 1-on-1 when they come recruit kids and stuff, I'm like, okay,
Right.
oh. Wait, you was doing that when you was an analyst? Like, oh, so like for the people who watching the podcast,
Right.
who like, excuse me, who want to get into the college field, but don't understand like, this is the work that's going to have to be taken.
Absolutely.
And then when did this position even get created?
I was-
Because it hasn't
like-
been around for a long time.
I'm saying,
It's under a decade
it was the Saban thing, because so what
So
Saban
Saban started being an analyst.
and that's why they put like a number on it. So it's like it's crazy. It all started with Saban. So what Saban was doing was high school. It was high school coaches could work college camps.
Right.
And
Right.
so what
That was a big
Saban would
thing.
do was like how he was getting the top tier people every year to come to Alabama was he would hire that coach, and they wouldn't get hired on the field. They'll get hired in the analyst spot. Like, look, man, come here. Your coach gonna be here, man. You guys are always somebody to talk to. And so like when everybody started seeing it, like, look, we can't compete with that. We don't have the money to hire 9 on the field position coaches. And then they put a number to that, So that's when it came about. When they put this, when the NCAA say, hey, if you can't recruit that school by hiring this coach unless he goes straight to on the field. That don't happen no more. So
Right.
now it's like, all right, if you hired that coach from high school into an analyst role, you can't recruit that school for 2 years.
Yeah.
So now it's like, how do I keep my friends together and not go apart? Because Mel Tucker was an analyst before he went to Colorado and Michigan State. Back with
So I'm gonna walk you through my process a little bit, just in terms of if people ever want to get into coaching, especially college, you have to know that's what you want to do. And it was the same thing. Like I talked to Skip Holtz right after I finished playing, and talked to a couple other people. Talked to Dave Johnson, some other mentors and stuff like that. And the one question that they have is like, are you finished with the game? And it's hard to answer because as a competitor, you always going to want to play because that's what you know. Your passion and love for the game, so that's why most people get into coaching. But the thing about college football, you really have to know that's what you really want to do, and you really have to sacrifice. So like I'm a shout out to like all of my analysts, GAs, student assistants. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing: a lot of people don't know, right? Those people are behind the scenes, and nothing operates without those guys.
For real.
facts.
Work doesn't get done. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is that like most coaches at some point or another have been an analyst or a GA, so they kind of know and they understand and they have a great appreciation for seeing people, you know what I'm saying, get their hands dirty and work and do X, Y, and Z. So a little bit, just to take you through my process a little bit and how I get into coaching, So I finished playing, and I talked to Joe Sloan, who's now the quarterback coach at LSU. He was my receiver coach. He was one of my receiver coaches. And got there, talked to him and Skip, and they like, is this what you really want to do? And they asked me, and I'm like, yeah, I know this is what I want to do. If you think for 1 second that you about to go in and it's just going to be all peaches and cream, it's not.
Right.
So for me, go up in there, being a grad assistant. And then before I get into that, I'm gonna take it back just a little bit because the people that are in college now, this is what a lot of people don't tell you. Most kids go to college and they get just enough, or they do just enough to meet the requirements in order for you to stay eligible to play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what people don't tell you is that if you don't bust your tail in the classroom to reach a certain GPA, then you can't get accepted into grad school.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I be a graduate assistant if I can't even get into the graduate school program?
Right.
So what route do I have to go? Well, I have to go to junior college. I have to go to high school. And now I got to go the long route. Because not a lot of people putting you on game telling you, man, if you ever want coach, take care of your business now so you can get good grades so you can get accepted.
Yep.
So like if you have below like a 2.5 or whatnot, you can't be a GA.
Right.
So you have to have like a 2.7 and above.
Wow.
And then if like most people, you got to take the GRE, which is like a standardized test.
Test.
And then if you go for business, then you take the GMAT.
Yeah.
Those are the two ways that you can get accepted into graduate school.
Right.
But you also have to have the GPA. So if you want coach and you in college now, take care of your business so that way when the opportunity comes, now you can coach.
Right.
But a lot of people don't tell you that now and put you on game. So me, I had an opportunity, I had good grades, probably graduated with a 2.9 or whatnot, got me a couple degrees or whatnot, and then going to this master's program, going to graduate school. First year, you know, you excited, you like, man, all right, yeah, man, I'm coaching, I don't really know what all this entails. If you want to make an impression, try to be one of the first guys in the building. Try to be one of the last to leave. The coach that you're working for, you shouldn't leave before he leaves.
Right.
Because there may be a time where he may sit up there and say, man, G, he may call you, G, where you at? I need you to do something. And shit, G at the crib. You know, so you done missed out on your opportunity of being available. Like, you got to be available to those coaches at any given moment because they may need something. And you got to have that, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to have that, like you got to go and get it. You know, so one of the things with GAs and stuff is that, like, if you sit in the room and coach mentions something, don't wait for him to ask you for it. Just go ahead and be proactive and start doing it. So, like, if a coach ever mentions something, take the initiative. So when he asks for a coach, here you go. Here you go. All right, boom, I got that done. What you need. So the GAs and analysts, man, they break down all the film.
Yep.
So you talk about, like,
And that's time consuming.
you talk about formations, defense coverages, stunts, blitz,
Special teams.
distance.
down and distance, first down, situation, what side the back is on, what you know what I'm saying, personnel.
Field.
Yeah, boundary field, pistol, offset, like situations, 2 minute, 4 minute, open field, backed up, red zone. Like, you have to input all that data in yourself. So you have to watch all that, input all that data.
Drive
not.
starters.
So because you have to have that information available to the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has to be right, it has to be accurate and all those things. So you got to build playbooks, you got to build binders, you got to do all the miscellaneous stuff that people don't want to do. But you got to go with your move in order for you to do it if that's what you really want to do. So being a graduate assistant at at Louisiana Tech, like, I was making probably $650 every 2 weeks.
Dang.
School wasn't paid for, so the money that they gave me was paying for my school. So I was working for free. If that's what you wanted to look at it and say, because you're not reaping the benefits. Now the benefits is I get the coach, I'm on the college level, I'm a part of this program, and I maximize my opportunity of being here with these guys.
You was
coaching.
investing in yourself, though.
You got to invest in yourself. So the thing is, if you think of it financial wise, like if you making bread right now and you like, man, I want to go coach, you're not pretty much going to make the same bread that you once was making. So just to give you a like quick rundown of like just the coaching world or whatnot and like how I get in. So GA making $650 every 2 weeks, right? School for me in graduate school was about 27 to $3,000. So when you talk about the classes, the books, like I had to pay for all of that. So you do 650, 650, 650, right? And you just sit up there and say, you do 650, 650, that's give you 13, right? And then you do 13 and 13, right? That give you 26.
You right?
Well, that's 2 months right there.
2 months right there.
In school, it's 27 to $3,000. So you mean to tell me I'm already in the hole before I even start?
Yeah.
So that's like how my journey began. It's like you're a graduate assistant, but I ain't making no bread. So there was a lot of times I questioned. I'm like, man, I don't know if I could do this, right? So I'm not like making no money at all, and I'm like, dog, I got to come up with a plan and a situation for me to get into this. So I was working at the grocery store. So I was a grocery manager for 3 years at Super One. So it's a company that branched from Texas. It's called Berkshire's. So I was working at Super One, worked for 3 months, got promoted to be a grocery manager. So I worked overnight, started overnight, and then moved to days, and then went back overnight. So just to give you an idea of like how my day went, right? So during the spring football that just passed, right?
Yeah.
So you practice every other day,
Right.
right? So you have just a little bit time. Like you're not in the office as much, so you probably get out there around 6, 7 o'clock. On a good day. Well, my process and how it went is that I would go to football. So we got 8 o'clock staff meetings or 7 o'clock staff meetings. So you go through the day, boom, right? You get all your work done. You practice. We practice from. So our special teams meeting started at 2:30. We was on the field like at 4. Got off the field at 6. So that was your practice. Get back, shower, make sure coach anything don't need nothing, make sure everybody's straight. And from there, from like 7:30, 8 o'clock, I will go to the grocery store.
Wow.
Go to the grocery store. So I put on my manager outfit, my name tag, right? My slacks, my shoes. I'm in my uniform. I go to work. Now I'm working 12-hour shifts. So I'm working from
No way.
basically 8 to 7 because now I have to make it to the staff meeting in the morning, right? So I will go like on a 3-day cycle to where I will go football to Super One, from Super One to football, football to Super One to football, and then I'll be able to sleep on that third day.
Damn.
No way. No way.
So when you look at it and they say like how, and people used to ask me, man, I used to be dead tired.
Yeah,
I
I can
used-
tell. It's no way.
Like,
your old
Making
lady
me
was-
tired listening to
Well,
it.
your old lady was mad.
Yeah, bro. It actually, truth be told, it actually like ruined our relationship in a sense, because I was young and I wanted to coach so much, and I was fully invested in trying to chase and be a part of it. And my mindset and my vision of what I had for myself didn't align with where we was at.
Right.
But as a young, like I didn't understand that, so I didn't really have no balance. And it's like
but in a sense though, bro, you kind of got to be a little selfish.
you do, but then also too, you got to be transparent and you got to
Yeah.
have balance.
And
If
you
ever
got
want
to
coach,
communicate it too.
if you ever want coach, you have to find a great woman that's very understanding, but you have to also be transparent and be balanced in what you do. Because if you don't, if home ain't good, then the coaching,
But how do you get your significant other to understand? Look, baby, I'm about to pursue this coaching journey. I'm only gonna be making $650 every 2 weeks, and I gotta work overnight. But look, just hold tight. Let me go through this process. It's gonna pay off in the end. Just work with me. Like
all
a
right.
lot of women not dealing with that, bro. Especially the times we living in.
All right, so G, name how many women you know that don't want to come home to somebody.
None.
But
None.
But
a woman want their man to be bringing something in too,
I understand that.
financially.
But here's the thing. With women are willing to sacrifice. You don't have to have the most money in the world.
Right?
If
Right.
you're a good man and you're available physically and emotionally
Yep.
and willing to support me
Yep.
whenever I need you,
Yes.
I can work with that. So then that's why you look on the street and you be like, man, she messing with him. But he's available
He's
to her.
available. He's available.
It does me no good if they're with a man who can't be there for them
Right.
in some form of fashion. Because you could say financially, but the people that have financially, people that are like well off in relationships, they be miserable.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And the reason being because you don't have no companionship.
Companionship.
There's no physical touch, and everybody got different love languages. You know what I'm saying? So
Or they both of them were stepping out,
yeah.
just to get that,
Because of
like you
that
say,
part.
Yeah,
I want-
because you missing something. You
You
know what I'm
not-
saying?
Yep.
So
you get me the emotional, but you ain't here and you ain't,
yeah. So
Well, let me kind of correct myself because I don't want to make it seem like all women want is a man with money.
Because
What I'm saying
you
is,
can't have the women come at us.
right? That's not what I'm saying.
So G, I help you out. Hey, look, G.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You can't have the women come at us.
So I help y'all.
Let it
G.
coordinate.
So the thing,
I want you to come shooting at me.
yeah. So the thing with women and wives, bro, they're like real MVPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Because
They are.
they're really like single parents and single wives and girlfriends and significant others, because like I get up, like when we in the season, man, I'm getting up at 4:00. So like if you have kids, like you're gone before they wake up,
Yep.
and by the time you get
back.
home, they already sleep.
Yep.
You know, so like
Yep.
you have to have somebody that's willing to sacrifice understanding, and then it also is a commitment of understanding. So if nobody don't know the game, then it's hard for her to sit up there like, let me put my life on hold to be a part of you.
And that's the point I'm getting to.
That's
'cause
hard.
Yeah.
Some of them don't see the vision.
Right.
They don't see down the road where, baby, if you just stick with me, we gonna reap the benefits. You just gotta trust the process and trust my vision right now. That's the part I'm really talking about, because they don't understand. They just hear,
Right.
man, you only making $650 every other week right now, but they don't understand how this gonna benefit you long term if you just stick with me.
I
Yes,
think
sir.
it's
She on
That's-
IG.
that's really the
she
point
looking
I'm
through
making.
reels. She looking through all these things and all this information.
'Cause-
And it's hard for her to buy in because so
Right.
much information
Because,
tells her not
all
to
right,
buy in.
for example, if I'm going to get a job at AT&T, right, and I might start off making $28,000 a year,
Right.
well, she could they'll understand it a little better. Like, okay, if he do his job, go in there and kick ass, maybe in about a year or two, he probably could move up to making 45 a year, and then maybe 60 a year, 70 a year. But when you get into the coaching game, a lot of women don't understand that process, and I've heard a lot of guys tell me that.
They don't, but you have to show and explain it to them. And the only way for them to understand and know is to go through.
Right.
Right? It's just like anything else. In
Experience.
order for you to go, like that's the best way we learn is through experiences.
Yep.
But you have to be transparent, and you also have to communicate, right? Involve them, make them feel, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like you
Definitely
can't
gotta
sit
involve.
up there and say, oh, I'm going to go do this, do this. Oh, and yeah, baby, by the way, I got this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to be transparent and communicate with them in a sense to where,
And be proactive.
yeah, you got to be proactive, and now they know what you got going on, and now they're receptive to it. But then there's the opportunities to where you have to make time and say, all right, baby, no matter what's going on, this is our date night.
Yep.
So you got to make time, you know what I'm saying, in order for everything to be transparent. And then also, too, there's perks with everything else. You talk about bowl games. You talk about vacations. You talk about, you know what I'm saying? And then also, too, it depends on who you're working for.
Yeah.
You know, working for a certain coach will dictate how much you get a
Yep.
chance to spend with your family.
Yep.
And me personally, I just be transparent. It is not on the college level like that you have. So my perks come differently.
Right.
So like, and G and Fred can tell you, like, so like for the longest, like I was just a regular CCPE coach. Didn't get paid, nothing like that. But what I did was transparent and communicate with my wife. Hey, look, this is something that I think I might want to get into. This is what it might entail.
Right.
And okay, let's try it out. And then the perks was seeing, like, because I was the first African American coach at Albany High School.
Right.
And to see a whole bunch of white kids just come over, hey, coach, man, hey, don't worry about it, coach, we gonna cut you grass, just to hang out. They wanted to, like,
Yeah.
they didn't
Put a
have
price
fun,
on
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she just sitting there like, wow, okay. And then we didn't have kids at this time.
Right.
Then we had my son who's special needs, autistic, and to see like the extra mile that the kids like, hey, my grandma made these.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I didn't see you at the game last week. I know the band might be throwing up. Like the first pair of soundproof earmuffs my son ever got was from one of my players.
That's big time.
Like they drew on it in our class.
Yeah.
Hey, little Coach Hank.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like just the small
That's
stuff
big
like
time,
that. But
man.
then also, like you said, as part of being the man in the relationship, you gotta let your kids that you're coaching see this. Like, hey,
Yes.
look, I'm out here 9-10 hours with you. I could be at home with him.
Right.
I could be at home with her. Look what I like. So you got to show both sides, and then like it just marry
Yeah.
together.
It
Now
does.
you got like I know some people that like they can switch career paths and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And like, hey, this is the vision that I see was going. I'm about to step out on faith. You know,
Right.
we always talk about it. Now I'm about to actually put into work.
Right.
And they get so shook by the vision that you have for yourself
Right.
and the plans that you got going to. You know what? Yeah, that ain't for me. I don't want to be. And that's cool. It's cool to step away.
Right.
It's cool to step away, but don't settle yourself and don't let nobody else put shades on what you see for your vision.
Right.
And I think if you go into it with that mentality, because now I'm an assistant head coach. I'm a coordinator again.
Right.
I'm getting paid for it now, and I'm at the school with my wife.
Right.
It
all works
didn't went
itself
full.
out.
It didn't went full
Yeah.
circle, but
It all
like
works itself out.
when I first got into it, like that wasn't the plan. I just wanted to help kids, and I think when you attack it that way, and first and foremost, you gotta let God lead the way.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You just can't walk out there blind. You know what I'm saying? You let God lead the way. He gonna make it to where like, even my wife can't stand sports, but she'll make an effort enough. Like, well, how did the game go?
Right.
How did this? Because did y'all do good? Is that good?
Right. She know it means something to you.
And then she go give me that quick 15 minutes. It's like,
Yeah.
babe, you know, a housewife coming on. Man, goddamn, what fell to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
now?
like what you like what you got for me?
She gonna switch gears.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But before we gotta get ready to wrap up,
Yeah.
we gotta get into.
Hold on. I do want to ask him one more thing before we do get ready to wrap up. When you was coming through high school, going through the recruiting process, right, and then becoming a coach, and now you are the person that's going out and doing the recruiting.
Right.
What have you learned in the differences from then to now?
Well, now it's completely different. It still have some of that old feeling, depending on what level you at. Because back then, like probably when y'all was coming out, like you didn't know who offered you.
Right.
No, you didn't.
Like you didn't know who offered you. You didn't know who came to the school. It was all up to the coach discretionary. You know, to whether he like there was coaches who hid mail from kids. You know, people write letters to like coaches been reaching out. You got a stack of mail, and you know, like so you never knew who contacted you or who liked it you or who had interest in you. And it all goes back to what kind of relationship you had with your head coach, or if he really liked you, or you know what I'm saying. So, like that used to go on to where like they would hide mail from players,
Right.
You know. So you can arguably sit up there and say like players missed out on opportunities.
Right.
The
Right.
difference, and you know, back then, you know, kind of like when I was coming out, it was more about relationships. To where like it still has some of that feeling. And the good ones, on whatever level it is, like it was about relationships. Me developing a relationship with you, right, with all the people that are important to you to develop that relationship. So whenever you branched off and went off to college, I can call the person that I trust because I basically insured and gave him to you because I trust you, right? I know you're gonna take care of him and look after him as if he was your own, right? So that's kind of like I still have that, like that's who I am, and that's kind of like what I do. But now, yeah, because it's different. It all comes down to relationships. You know what I'm saying? It comes down to relationships. Now, it is completely different to where it still has that old feeling. But now, we all could be recruiting. Like, let's just say you was at a P5, you was at a group of 5, you was at a P5, and I'm at Louisiana Tech. We all could be recruiting the same kid. I can have the best relationship with that kid. But whoever got the biggest bag, that kid ain't worrying about.
Right.
That kid ain't worrying about if you know his middle name or what kind of favorite candy he like or his favorite color. Or whoever got the biggest bag, that's where they going. You know, which that's the dynamics of college football, the landscape of how things go now. So it's just like kids are willing to bet on themselves, and they feel like they created a platform for themselves to make X amount, whatever value that they have for themselves. So that's where they're gonna go, because like it's like one of those things. Like a kid is gonna go where he think he has the most value, right? So like
then he found out.
Yeah, because if you put a price tag on something, well, dollars show the value amount of what something is worth. Like if you go shop, they scan it, they're gonna say this is worth X amount of dollars.
Right. Correct.
right?
Right.
Whereas if you get like say if you get like an antique, people still got them old antique chest of drawers and stuff like that, that old wood. Like there's no price tag on that.
Cherry wood.
Like you know what I'm saying? There's no price tag on that, and that's why the old folks keep that, because it is rich, it's different, it's unknown. Like I was talking to one
They
of
keep it because you can't move it, man.
yeah, like I was talking to I was talking to a lady. She worked at one of these high schools.
Why they never move?
She a CEO. She was talking about like like clothing and like what she had. Like she had the old Gucci, the red and the stuff that they don't even make no more.
Right.
And she like, that's authentic. It don't matter what they making now. Like I got something that they can't get no more. So you just talk about the difference, the different styles, the value, but kids gonna go somewhere where they feel value, just in terms of like if they got a price tag on it, that's what they think they has the most value. So just because something is, you could take it to 3 different people and they're gonna have 3 different prices. So that's just kind of like the landscape of college football or whatnot. So it's different.
I like that. I like that perspective. Before we get ready to wrap up, gotta do Teddy's favorites. Here we go.
Spotlight.
Teddy's.
What's up?
What is your favorite? Who is your favorite NFL player of all time?
Oh man, favorite NFL player of all time? I'd probably say Reggie Bush.
Okay.
Probably say Reggie Bush. That was kind of like,
That
because
time,
that was my time. That was my era. Just in terms of like growing up, and I was just like, man, he's just so exciting to watch. Like I thought I wanted to go to USC so bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to go to SC, and then you had Joe McKnight go to SC. Lord bless her dead, and but that was kind of like
That's the time.
they had some great players, but I think Bush.
Favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie all time. See, I got a couple different favorite movies or whatnot. So if I had to put it into 3, it'll be Planet of the Apes.
What? The new
Man, all 3 of them.
That's different.
The Rise, the Rise, the Dawn, and the War.
Okay.
I never seen.
So I like Planet of the Apes. I watch all 3 of them or whatnot. So if you just talking about like classic movies, that's probably what you want to know. Classic movies, I probably would go with that's tough. People gonna shame me for this, but I got 2 of them. I got The Wood, and then I got Baby Boy.
The Wood. Hey, you can't go wrong with The Wood. You can't go wrong with
The Wood and Baby Boy, man. Baby Boy. Yeah, Slim.
Little video?
I like it.
Yeah,
Favorite sneaker of all time?
favorite sneaker? Man, probably some good old G-Nikes, though. You can't go wrong with them. You can't go wrong. Like growing up, mom, like we had the black ones. That was on the day. You gonna get some black that you can't dirty up. So probably some black G-Nikes.
Favorite coach of all time, whether it was middle school, high school, college, it don't matter. Who had the most impact on you?
That's tough. Man, the most impact. Probably the most impactful person that I haven't had the opportunity to tell is Coach Schofield.
Stanley.
Oh, you know about Kenny Heights?
I played at Kenny Heights, dog.
Come on now, what year? Hold on, what year? Hold on. You talking our territory. What you know about? Why you know about the Heights?
Hey, man,
Capital, gotta get up in the house. Capital.
Yeah.
Come on now. You was a Viking?
So when you talk about like those coaches, man, you talk about like Schofield and Coach Juggy and Coach Sean, like
Coach Ricky.
Yeah, man,
all
all them dudes,
I ain't
man.
gonna say his nickname.
All them dudes, like those, like
Tell me, get.
Say what?
So like, you know what I'm saying? Like those coaches, bro. Like those coaches, bro. I can remember like times where, I used to be the last kid on the park, and just the sacrifice they made of like bringing me home, come and get me, like, and it kind of motivated me to want to coach, because I didn't have my dad around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So those coaches stepped in the gap and was like kind of father figure to me, or when so like they really had a huge impact on me or whatnot, and I probably haven't had the chance to tell them or whatnot. So I told myself that like sometime soon I'm gonna go back there or whatnot, and reach out to them and try to do something or whatever because
Gotcha.
there was a lot of great moments, a lot of great coaches that came through there. Like I had some lot of great coaches, but those probably like the most influential coaches.
Last but not least.
You got, there's two more. There's two more.
All right, I'm gonna ask him, bro. God damn.
There's two more.
Favorite comedian all time, man.
Favorite comedian.
Like, they been getting on me about this.
Oh man.
We ain't gonna let it go.
Favorite community, that's tough because like the different styles of comedian. But if you had to go with a comedian, I'm probably gonna say Bernie Mac.
Oh! Winner chicken dinner, God.
I'm probably gonna go. I'm probably gonna go with the Mac, man. Lord bless the day, bro. But Mac.
That's not a wrong answer.
Yeah. Mac was so authentic, bro.
Yes.
Mac was so
You would
authentic. Yeah, bro. He was just so authentic, and then no matter what he played in, like that was Mac.
Yeah.
That was Mac. Like Mac probably played in any and everything, and his name was always Mac.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? That didn't change or whatnot. I think Richard Pryor, he was a really good one. So that's kind of like you know that.
And before all
Everybody probably say Kevin Hart, but those were dudes that was like classic,
Pioneers.
authentic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That travel and did it the right way or whatnot. So I probably say Mac.
Last but not least, if you wasn't coaching football, what would Teddy Veal be doing with his life?
Man, that is really crazy because I think I can do just about anything. I think I have a certain skill set that the Lord blessed me with, to where I can do anything. But before I got into coaching, I was about to do pharmaceutical sales. So I was about to get into that or whatnot. I knew a
Legal
guy.
pharmaceutical sales.
Yeah, legal.
Hey, you gotta stress that.
Yeah.
We from the hood.
Yeah,
you know,
so
that-
I was about to do that, man. I was about to get, I put out my wallet, dog. I got an Ocean 30 card, dog.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I got an Ocean 30. I was about to go work for a company, a consulting company in New Jersey with a guy that I had met, right before I got into coaching, but then COVID happened, whatnot, and I probably could have kept playing football, whatever,
Right.
It was just a lot of different things or whatnot, but who knows, bro? Like, I don't kind of like live my life to say, oh, I got to do this and do this and do this. I just basically say, like, wherever the Lord want me to be, and that's where I'm going to be.
You don't limit yourself.
And I make the most of where I'm at. Absolutely.
Last question that you didn't ask. Favorite musician of all time?
Favorite musician?
It could be rapper, R&B.
I'm going to have to go with Wayne.
Okay.
Yeah, Wayne. Like, yeah. I can say Wayne, man. I can listen to the Carter. I can put that on all day.
The real Carter.
Yeah, the Carter 2 is probably the best one ever.
I won't disagree with that.
But
Best mixtape, no ceilings.
yeah,
No shit in the best mixtape. But the first
I
card.
don't know, but you know what I'm saying? That when they was all together, the squad.
Yeah, the squad used to pop.
That squad too. That
it's,
squad
it's,
too.
it's,
Still a favorite.
it's different types. This is kind of like whatever you prefer and you like. Cause like a lot of people say Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z
That's my favorite.
is a GOAT. When you talk about lyrical, like Nas is really cool. And then like a lot of people, like you just talk about lyrical, real rap in the industry. I like the Locks.
Okay.
So that's kind of like
Grinding.
different. Like like kissing all them dudes, bro. That's like real.
Yeah.
Notice
Yeah.
he named everybody from Biggie Tree. He didn't say Biggie. I just want to say.
Man, Teddy, man, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. We've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
Man, your story and your journey, bro, is I'm sure it's gonna be inspiring for a lot of people that's gonna watch this. Man, keep doing your thing, keep elevating the game, man. I'm rooting for you, bro. And we definitely gotta get you back on in the next.
Oh yeah, man, you definitely gotta get me on tap in, but bro, I definitely appreciate y'all having me, dog.
That's what it is, man.
Bro, y'all tap in, hit me up anytime or whatnot, and I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Listen,
Appreciate it, bro.
everybody get subscribed. Listen, again, if y'all on YouTube, subscribe to FanView Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to G Sports.
You know
if
it.
y'all on YouTube, G Sports. Obviously, it's FanView Podcast. If y'all on YouTube, it's FanView Podcast. If y'all on TikTok, it's FanView Live. If you on IG, it's FanView NOLA. If you on Twitter, listen, get locked in, watch, like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. It's the best goddamn podcast in the
You know
goddamn
it, man.
state, baby.
We elevating Noville.
Can't stop,
Won't
won't
stop.
stop. Y'all already know what it is.
We signing out. We signing out, man.
Signing out, man. This dude never stopped, dog. He
Yeah, bro.
never stopped.
Somebody got to do it.